I think what was very clear at Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday was the moment when the Prime Minister admitted that he knew that Peter Mandelson had an ongoing close friendship relationship with the paedophile, Jeffrey Epstein. And there was an audible gasp, not just from our side, but especially from Labour benches. And I think that was the moment that I think everybody in the chamber knew that this was certainly the beginning of the end, if not the end itself. The Prime Minister's authority has entirely slipped away. And I think, he may not go today, he may not go this week, but I think that he doesn't have long for the political world.
I thought I agree. I thought it was amazing. There wasn't the usual kind of mass heckling from both sides. It was very attentive. And I thought, as you say, it was a jaw-drop moment. But I think your own leader, Kimmy Badenoch, had one of her best performances as well, very to the point as well. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of people knew, and the evidence was there, whether it was the Bloomberg report or the FT as well. I mean, Greg, you know this better than I do. A lot of people knew that there was still an ongoing relationship, but that's very, very different from the concerns now being raised about Lord Mandelson's conduct when he was in the government as well, and of Gordon Brown's government as well. So a lot of smart people are saying, yes, OK, there was a relationship, but he was the right man for the right job. Now it turns out, obviously, there were other things going on.
I don't think he was the right man for the right job. I mean, he'd already been sacked or forced to resign from government twice before for misdemeanors and other scandals. So the idea that you had to bring back into government, I think, was the wrong one. And whilst you're absolutely right, we didn't know the level of the relationship between Epstein and Mandelson. And we certainly, I don't think, had any idea that he was passing sensitive information to him from his time in government. I think what was clear was that Peter Mandelson wasn't called the Prince of Darkness because he was a happy, normal person. He was a greaser, a smoozer. He was somebody who really played the dark arts of politics. And to then appoint that man to the most senior position in our diplomatic service, I think was a grave error on the part of the Prime Minister, even if he didn't know the details that we now know. And so I think the Prime Minister has to go on that. But what I think we also need to see about this, and that's what we were trying to do as the opposition on Wednesday, was to get all the papers released so we can have some idea of the level of the intricacies and the web that Peter Mandelson and Jeffrey Epstein were weaving together at a time, let's remember, back in 2008, 2009, when this country and the world was in a real difficult state because of the economic crises that were going on. So to have somebody in the heart of government giving information to someone who was not part of government, I think is really, really worrying. And I'm glad that the Metropolitan Police are investigating that.
And look, again, Kimmy Badenoch was making the point about the ISC, and fair play to her on this one as well. But as the Prime Minister did say, the Met Police have asked them and got involved. So there are issues there of why the Prime Minister might not want to release all that information. But I want to move on, if I may, Greg. Gorton and Denton is upon us as well. We are 20 days away. And quite frankly, who knows? Because the vote's going to be split and reform, and obviously certain Labour MPs didn't get the man they wanted to stand in Gorton and Denton. Is anyone ready to take over as Prime Minister? Your own party doesn't appear to be high enough in the polls to want a general election. Domestically, we've mentioned the four players within the Labour Party who just have got their own problems if they were to become Prime Minister. It's all very well getting rid of Keir Starmer, but who would take over?
Well, I think you're right there. It's there's clearly, and I see it as a member of Parliament watching Labour colleagues huddling in corners with various factions, and you see people around Angela Rayner or around Wes Streeting, or indeed Ed Miliband, an interesting choice if there ever was one. So there are people waiting in the wings, but I don't get the impression from talking to Labour colleagues that any of them are quite willing to put their head above the parapet, because I think there is a belief in the Labour Party that the first mover, whoever moves against the Prime Minister first, will not succeed him. And I think, therefore, I don't think at the moment any of the key players who might take over really have the guts or the willingness to remove him.